Welcome back, I'm Tedward, and today, thanks to Bentley Boston and Garage 42, we're driving the Continental GTC Azure. As you can see, this paint is outrageous. I hope the metallic flake that is a different color than the paint actually shines through here. But this is one of my favorite motoring experiences, a top-down luxury experience with 671 horsepower driving all four wheels. This is a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, and now all of these cars are plug-in hybrids. Of course, you can afford the gas, but an electrified system paired with this meaty V8 is going to only enhance the driving experience and allow you to kind of slip in and out undercover, ultra quiet in EV mode. That electric motor is placed right ahead of the transmission, sort of in the transmission, so it still shifts, it does all these fun things, but you still get the gorgeous styling of a Continental GTC. I think every angle of this car is dead on perfect. I love the new style. I am very excited to drive this today. And with the top down, we're gonna get to experience all of the noises. We've got big, bold stances. We've got big, bold wheels. These are 22-inch wheels with 275 section tires on it, monster brakes, and inside, the perfect quilted leather experience. These always feel like you could roll them off a cliff and you'll survive. You've got such sturdy architecture on these cars, and despite all of the new technology that's gone into these cars, they still do feel like the proper old school luxury touring Bentley experience you've always known and loved, if you were so fortunate to always know and love them. Let's get under the hood real quick just to show you what's going on here. Evan from Bentley Boston's gonna pop open the hood for us. Isn't it nice when we have our own little Vanna White to turn the the letters for us? What a luxury. See, it's a luxurious day. And there she is. Now, I will say I missed the W12. I think the W12 was probably like my favorite Bentley engine, second only to the 6 3/4 liter V8. But this is still plenty, and it's a very different character the way they've tuned these cars to, say, the Porsche Panamera or some other cars within the Volkswagen group. So don't be one of those people that just says, oh, I could get this in a cheaper car. You sure could, but it won't feel like this. But more importantly, it's a drop head. Let's show you the roof operation. And in a rare moment, I am not alone, and I get to show you this from outside the vehicle. So Evan's gonna do us the honors and show us how rapidly you can conceal yourself from the people on the street who may be trying to see who you are while you're driving by them. Not bad. And there you go. Let's pop it right back down and we'll go for a drive and enjoy this thing, because that's what these cars are. They're driver's cars, and Bentley was involved in motorsports in its origins, and they still maintain their sporting feel and vibe, but they obviously cater to the upper echelons of society. And then let's just give a real quick check back here. I love the way you just press that Bentley B. Not a ton of space for luggage, but chances are you're either driving solo or with one individual in the passenger seat. You can just load up the back there. Let's get out and go for a drive. When you get in the GTC, you get your little butler giving you your seatbelt. And when you get out of the GTC, when you pull this handle, there's actually like knurled texture behind that. So that's what I mean when I say like it still feels like a Bentley, because it still has all the little fine touches. This interior, I think, is really clever and sweet. It's like very subtle, but it's just, everything feels a little bright, and it's not glaring terribly off of the windscreen, which was something that I remember Porsche had to recall a bunch of cars for, because they were like, oh, no one can see. So instead of recalling them and changing the interiors, they gave people polarized sunglasses. Did you know that?
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Start stop right here. Are you kidding me? That's fantastic. Then we can hit screen, change that over to the good stuff, because this is what I want to be looking at, not screens. This is fine, but I would love it if these types of dials and switchgear was right in front of me. I don't really need all of this. I'm in my Bentley. I want to feel ultra special.
To also use the online recognizer, please accept the license agreement.
No, I will not. And we're going to go back to this. So The other thing, we've got our drive modes here, so we can be in sport, and that's going to light up this engine. Oh, it sounds really good. Actually, let's see if we can, is that neutral? Oh my God. Absolute monster. So we're going to keep it in sport mode because we're going to rip on it a little bit. This electrified powertrain delivers that first bit of torque just instantaneously. So you're never waiting for turbos to spool. Not that these have a terrible amount of lag to begin with. Hello, I thought I heard you. Same engine. All right, let's knock you down a little bit.
I have a feeling if you say the B word, it might do it again.
We won't, well, yeah. That's actually very funny. If we say the name of the brand, I think it's going to continue to think that we want to talk to it.
There might be a way to turn that off.
It's okay. I think it's funny. So the best thing about a Bentley is that it's always chill to drive at low speeds. I never feel rushed. And the good news is, though, that when I do feel rushed, I can put my foot in it and it just goes. And we're gonna wait for all this traffic to go so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. The power delivery is bonkers because this is doing essentially, I think, a 3-second 0 to 60, somewhere in that realm.
Just above 3.
And you get pushed back in your seat, but then it's just seamless. It's just this constant wave of torque. There's something really unique about the way this puts power down that feels just superb. But also, you can just quiet it down, throw it in EV mode if you want, and it's chill. Now, it's in EV mode right now, so when we crest this hill and I make sure that there's no authority sitting here with a laser gun staring at me, I'm gonna open up the throttle right now. So the one complaint I would have about these cars is just there's like a tiny bit of like lag, if you will, between lighting the engine from EV mode. It's not a particularly long time, and the thing is, if you're anticipating it, you'd probably just put it in sport mode anyway. Not that big a deal, but here I am, a car reviewer. If I'm gonna make any notes to Bentley in the future, just get that dialed in a little bit faster, and that's about it. We'll go back to sport mode. Wow, we crested that corner just as this rocket launched. I hope we don't get a rocket in our car. It's not what I want.
Can we catch it like one of those drone
Yeah,
ships?
is there a parachute coming down on us right now? Did we just catch the Artemis II in a Bentley?
This is the first time for everything.
You never know what you're gonna get out here. I am absolutely smitten with a convertible Continental GT because I want to be exposed to the world. I want to feel the air. I want to see the sights. When I'm in LA is usually when I'm driving a Continental because they have a really good press fleet out there, and so we'll get that. And I don't think we've ever had, well, maybe we did. No, I did have a convertible GTC, and it was raining the whole time, and it was like kind of a bummer. It's just, these cars are so good, roof up or roof down, and I would just rather have the option. It's kind of amazing how antisocial you can drive these cars while not really appearing antisocial, because the appearance of the car says class, it says opulence, it doesn't say stubborn teenager ripping around in a muscle car. And this is every bit as capable as, you know, a loud, obnoxious sports car that a young person, a youth, if you will, would be driving. Whereas I can rip around in this as if it were an electric car, which it sometimes is. But even with this engine note, it's not so out there that it doesn't incriminate me. What's amazing about these cars is that they've managed to find this incredible mix of sporty and luxury. It is a tight, tactile experience, but not so tactile that I'm bothered by the imperfections in the road. And I'm actually fascinated by this steering because it's a pretty quick steering rack. Not quite Lamborghini quick, but relative to almost anything else you're going to drive. This is a very sporty ratio. But it also doesn't wander on me, and I don't feel anything but an intuitive experience when I go to place it. This is very difficult to dial in. And luckily, Volkswagen Group has Porsche to thank for probably some of their engineers to figure out how to match that up. The way the suspension works, it doesn't remove imperfections from the road. It softens them, it dampens them, it takes the edge off. It's not designed so you don't feel anything. It's designed so you feel everything a little more rounded. There's no jagged edges when you go over imperfections on the road. Yeah, see, I'm gonna wait till like I am not on a blind corner to pass a bunch of cyclists, where I'm approaching a red light, where if they decide they're very mad at me, they can just punch my car and key it. Like, you've got to choose your battles, man. You really do. It's fascinating what people will do, or what they think is appropriate.
Also that.
So easy to drive. Oh my God. I just hit the massage button, so now I'm an even happier person. A horse!
It's a new one.
I don't know which way you're going. Thank you!
So polite.
I should have gone to EV mode so as to not scare the horse. I was gonna light it up and I'm like, no, that's inappropriate. What if the horse doesn't like it? I don't know how horses feel about Bentleys.
Could be interesting to find out.
We could find out. If I was driving in a Ferrari or even a Porsche, I think people would kind of look to you a little differently. They'd think like, oh, you're just some snobby dude. Something about a Bentley. Like, yes, there's obviously like wealth and opulence behind the brand and the image of it, but there's something a little less harsh. It feels like people might want to have a conversation with you versus immediately judge you. We're in sport mode. Let's just mat it. What say you, Evan? You like it?
How can you not?
You're paid to say that. No, it's so good. It's so good. This thing is so fast. I like I said, I miss the W12. I think that sound is ridiculous. But the performance that this is delivering is so ridiculous and so fantastic and so approachable that you can drive this every single day to work. You could drive it around on a normal commute. If you don't have to commute more than 30, 40 miles, you're gonna use not a sip of fuel if you choose to use it in electric mode, but you probably wouldn't because you're gonna wanna hear the sound. And it also is such a great road tripper. I go on these rallies every year with Team Champagne Ninjas, and we go up to Canada with Rally to Give. And a lot of people do elect to bring supercars, but there's always like 3 or 4 guys that bring a Bentley. And sometimes they look a little out of place, but once you're on the rally and maybe you've been sitting in the car for hours and hours and hours on end, or maybe you go to a racetrack to do some parade laps, you realize like they brought the correct car because it can do everything. It's just responsive. I mean, it's so silly how you can make this behave however you'd like, and this all-wheel drive system just disappears any semblance of a loss of traction. I was driving a 992.2 Carrera 2 GTS. So it's the rear-wheel drive with the new hybrid system with that crazy turbo. And it's fantastic, but like, we're now at the point where all these cars are over 600 horsepower, and trying to put power down in a rear-wheel drive car, even if it's rear engine, is just starting to become a chore. And it's tough to like replicate those 0 to 60 numbers on an unprepped surface, and you know, maybe the tires aren't warmed up and all that stuff. With a car like this, there's just like never a moment where you're not able to exploit its full capabilities, unless it's wet, super cold, or snowing. In which case, I still want to drive it. I want to put Blizzak 6s on this thing and enjoy it all year long. Let's see, we'll go and be good people. We're in EV mode.
It's almost funny how you can just do EV mode as if it doesn't have the ability to do everything that we've just done.
What's funny is that in EV mode with the Bentley tune, if I get into the throttle a bit, it will light up the engine. Whereas in the Lamborghini, which is under the same umbrella of the same company, it will just keep it completely in EV mode, even if that electric system is only providing me with like 100 horsepower or something. And they're like, nah, dude, you've chosen this. Whereas in this car, it's a little more on. So it's just always reading your mind. Whereas the Lamborghini, you have to tell it what you want. They should do a special edition where they put the 10,000 RPM V8 in this.
That would be interesting.
I know it's not feasible and it's stupid and silly, but maybe even just for a concept, it would be cool. I know, and it doesn't match the car at all. Like, that's just so beyond the point. But
what if?
What if is such a great thing to say, that car companies used to ask and execute on what if a lot more than they currently do. And I do wish that what if was taken more seriously. The grunt of this thing down low is bananas. Just rolling in to pick up my plane. No big deal. Who's coming in? I want to see. Just a 172. All right, let's see. I am going to block us from the people and just see what this sounds like with the roof up. This is silent.
It's almost like whisper quiet.
That's crazy. I knocked my hat cam on the thing. I need to double check that. We're good. Let's see. Yeah, we're good. Sometimes I do that on convertibles. The suspension gets so soft in comfort mode, and it's actually not as soft as it used to be. I think the last time I was in one of these cars out in California, it was so soft that it was almost like laughable. It was so silly, and I think they've retuned these to a point where now they make a lot more sense, because that ultra soft version of these cars was that ultra soft mode. Just it was almost like bouncy. It was ridiculous. So you can tell that they're making incremental improvements on these, and they're kind of listening to what's going on out in the field. Yeah, because even in sport mode, this feels just exactly where I want it to be. There's nothing crashy, just absorbing the things. Driven these out in the canyons in California, and what's staggering is what these can keep up with, and no one's getting away from you in this car. If you're willing to push it, it'll reward you, and it's so impressive how much of a track star these things turn into. And that's when you start wondering, like, who are they building these for? And like, the answer is everyone. The answer is someone who absolutely wants to go and devastate some Porsches on a back road, and also your grandmother who's like getting off of your family's jet, and it's like she just wants to put the roof down and her hat on and go home. Like, it is so wild how broad a spectrum a car like this caters to.
It's a do-it-all car.
It's bananas. I also want to appreciate the fact that it just has like pretty simple controls for things. All right, you know what? I just realized Bentleys are designed for, how do I say this like politely, like an older crowd who maybe doesn't want to have to ask the young people how to use the technology. And it proves that all the things that have gotten overcomplicated in cars today could be as simple as this. And I am now getting to the point where I get super frustrated with a lot of new cars that believe themselves to be innovative, but in reality they're just overcomplicating things and making me incredibly frustrated. While all the things in the background happening in this car are incredibly complicated, I don't have to wonder how to operate anything. And it also lets me touch things. I don't have to go through a screen to change where the direction of airflow is, because I guarantee a Bentley customer does not want to have to ask you, it'll be you at the dealership, how to use the car. It's one thing to be like, how do I change drive modes? How do I do this or that? Like, okay, great. You can teach people controls. But like, if you're trying to teach somebody like how to do the most basic activities in the car, it's so frustrating. And I would just simply buy another car. So good on Bentley for just making certain things ultra, ultra simple. Do I have cooled seats? Yeah, there they are. That's the good stuff.
massage going, the cool seats.
Yeah, I have everything I want. It's so easy to do like limo stops in this too. It thinks that the Dodge Durango is a box truck. That's genuinely the funniest thing I have seen in a long time. The seat feels like a cat, like kneading at me right now. It's kind of nice. Just like,
Did you say right meow?
right meow. If we got pulled over in this, we would have to meow the cop for sure.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. We'll flex on these kids.
There we go.
I like how I can just make assumptions that like most cars can do this up to like 25, 30 miles an hour. So you just keep it cool and, you know. Really quiet mechanism though. Like you really don't hear anything.
No, it's not a bunch of motors that you hear.
And I know this is a brand new car, so like I'm sure it has many uses ahead of it before it runs into trouble, but some of the like early 2000s, like an Azure or something, every time you put that down, you like cross your fingers and you're like, please work. And those are like the longest roofs. And so like you feel like, oh, if this gets stuck, like we have like a parachute. This is so bad. And they go, they make like the craziest noises.
That was a very good impression. You have heard that sound a number of times.
Too many times. All right, well, we'll waft our way back into Garage 42. Thank you so much to Bentley Boston for bringing out a bunch of fun luxury cars to play with today. You know, this is where I store my cars, and while I do get to drive a lot of them, it's fun when just a fleet of them show up and they say, yeah, here's some keys, go flog it. That's the best. We're gonna go drive a Bentayga Speed, and then we'll be out of here. So, thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one. Good stuff. Does your car do that? My car doesn't do that.
Mine doesn't do that.
That's a bummer. I'd pay for that.